Peace, I come in the righteous name of Emir X. And today I'm gonna be building on today's degrees. And today's degree is knowledge culture. All being born to power of refinement. Yeah, power of refinement. Right? And number one means knowledge, and number four means culture freedom. Right? And building on today's degrees, and also as it pertains to the original moment or the mother civilization, right? I'm gonna show y'all my build, and I will that I can bring y'all to an understanding. Because you can't give an understanding to no one, but you can only teach them the wisdom. And if they do the knowledge of that, they can give themselves an understanding, right? But how I see today's degree of being knowledge, culture freedom, is first and foremost what I see from it, what it teaches to us, and what it teaches that I have to do as well as all my brothers and sisters, is you got to think before you act, right? Because knowledge is the foundation of all things in existence. Knowledge is gnosis, is the son's a foundation of the soul system. That days the black man's a foundation of his family. Knowledge is to look, listen, and observe. Knowledge is the first step towards righteousness, right? So you have to think before you act, right? But also, dealing with culture freedom, you got to foundationalize your culture or this way of life, right? Which is Islam, right? And you got to know the different things about your culture or about our culture. We have to know the different things which make up our culture, right? Because we don't know anything about foods, we don't know anything about how to eat to live, right? And if that's a very important thing in our culture, the divine dietary law given to us and presented to us by the messenger of Allah, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, as you see right here, right, which was given to him by God Almighty in the person of the most honorable Master W.D. Farad Muhammad, to whom our eternal praise is due forever, the Mahdi, right, the son of man. So if we have to know the different things which make up our culture, right, and the different natural morals and customs that we have, right, but also how today's degree shows to us, right? And let me go through the culture freedom degree for anyone who doesn't know that, right? Number 4, culture freedom. Culture is a way of life, the way you present and carry yourself as your culture, our self-lord and master. Master our culture, which is Islam. Freedom is a free from all the lies and the wickedness of the devil civilization, right? So knowledge, culture, paying close attention to your own actions and doing a knowledge to your culture, right? Because we have to know, right? And we dealing with the culture of our things, right? But that's the way you present and carry yourself. It's not saying that we care about what people think. I don't care about what a damn person thinks other than Allah. I care what self thinks. I have self-confidence. I have high self-esteem. So if it's not in line with self, that's what I'm conscious of, right? I'm conscious of self, right? I don't care what other people think. I don't care what the other man or the colored man thinks, which means the white man, right? I don't care what he thinks. I don't care what my own people think. I care what's right and exact with self, what truly comes from this, right? What Allah thinks, right? That's what I care about, right? The all in all. And what goes into the culture, but it's paying close attention and being very keen and distinct and paying close attention to the way that you present and carry yourself. So before you act, right? Before you act, right? You have to think about this before we do it, right? And some people might say, well, this is common sense, right? But it might be common sense, but there's nothing common about that sense. And we can't assume, no matter how simple it may seem, look on the surface level, the knowledge, right? No matter how simple it may seem, we can't take that for granted and just assume someone already knows that, right? So we have to be very conscious of the way we present and carry ourselves, because we can't just be out here in any shape, form, and fashion. You can't just be out here wearing any type of clothes, any type of style, any type of way, right? And I'll get into that a little bit more, right? But you ain't just gonna see the guys out here wearing whatever, doing whatever, right? You ain't gonna see none of the righteous people. That's why it's called civilized, righteous. We ain't just wearing all these different things. We ain't just wearing the clothing as a clothing from unawareness, right? So we not gonna be unaware of. We have to be aware of our the way that we present and carry ourselves. So the way that you approach certain situations, the way that we handle people, the proper handling of people. I don't have that book, but it's a book out there from the messenger of Allah, right? And how we handle people, how we handle ourselves, because guess what we dealing with? We dealing knowledge, culture, so we paying close attention to our ways and actions, right? And we thinking before we act. But also, when you're dealing with the culture of anything, even outside the culture of Islam, right? Whenever you do something, right? Whenever you act, you have to think about whenever you about to make something, do something, right? And think about one, how does it fall in line? How does it affect your culture, right? If I'm about to take an action, if I'm about to eat a food, I gotta think, well, what's in this food, right? Was it mentioned in How to Eat to Live? No, it wasn't. But let me use the knowledge which I gained from that, right? Well, if I'm gonna study this thing, let's say if I'm gonna study this, okay, well this food has high in starch and high in sugars, right? Or this vegetable is high in starch and high in sugars. Well, me knowing that starches and sugars cause sugar diabetes and it's not good for our health, I should leave that alone. Well, let me look at this. Well, this is a bread, right? But this bread, this bread, well, it don't. It's made with a grain that don't got gluten in it, right? So it can't rise again in our stomachs. So it should be easy to digest. I'm not saying you can just think and guess at these things, right? But for the best of your ability with your knowledge, you gotta think, right? You gotta think before we do something, right? So think about. I'm using the example of dietary law, right? This is just an example. I ain't saying nothing right exact anything like that. I'm just using an example, right? So we have to think. Think about one, how it falls in line with your culture, right? As well as your own natural morals and values, which come with your culture. And then think about what comes from what's the culture of what you make it, right? What's the culture of that action? So think before you act. How does it fall in line with your culture, but how does it affect other people? Because you not only think about yourself, how's it going to affect the cultures of other people? Right? Even if you're advocating a righteous cause, you can't force no one to do nothing. You can't lie, trick nobody. You can't try to get someone to go in and do something to have them be affected. So if I know they're going to ride down on me hard, I might give my head beat in for teaching this sort of way, erroneous. If I try to mislead someone from coming in so that they can take the ass whooping too, so oh, well, if there's two of us, it won't be as bad on me because I'm going to bring him in with me. But if he's not down with that, that's righteous, that you advocate for a righteous cause, your birth, death, and sacrifice all in the name of Allah. But if you're not willing, I can't try to trick and deceive you because we righteous people. We don't do anything unrighteous, right? So we can't be trying to use no tricknology. You can use mathematics. You can use mathematics as Islam, and Islam is mathematics. You can use the knowledge of our culture to try to either free someone or deceive someone, enslave them, right? But let me get on track on my bill, right? We're dealing with knowledge culture. We have to think before we act, right? And think about all things before we act. And we also have to look at our own actions and ask ourselves, how does this fall in line with our culture, right? Because as the God, his name is either mathematic or magnetic. But as the God said, culture things is very close to you. The food you eat and the clothes you wear, stuff like that. So we have to think, if this is in close proximity of you, what's that adding on to the cipher, right? We're dealing with power over refinement, right? We got to manifest that truth, the truth of the reality, into all things, not just into a certain thing. A culture ain't no part-time job, right? Culture, that's every day of the week. But I'll get into that a little bit later. Now moving on with my build. Let's go to the Supreme Alphabet. Number what's Supreme Alphabet, today's Supreme Alphabet, that's N, right? Number 14, N. Now what N? Now is the time to build positive and end our negativity. This just brings you to the reality, and this brings you up to the day and time in which we living in, right? It's the now what N. Right now is the time to end all these things of this world, right? It may be hard, right? And don't let this try to fool you. It might be hard to try to switch up. We got to realize it's a now or end. So now is a time, and it calls for drastic change and drastic measures to be took. And don't expect something to immediately just come about, right? We in the last day or the last 1,000 years. So don't have that tension on your mind. Don't have that fear, because we're not supposed to be fearful. We're supposed to have high self-confidence, high self-esteem. That's what this culture gives to us, right? But knowing your culture gives you that what? We're dealing with the power of refinement. So we manifest that truth, right? And we refine our actions, because we always looking before we speak. Hold up. Remember in our degrees, 120, what does this teach us? Hold up. This, that, the third, right? So we always constantly keep that on your mind and foundationalize the different things in your culture, because your culture is supposed to be your foundation, right? That's supposed to be in your life. It's not, oh, it's this and then my culture. Oh, how can I put this inside my culture? Nah, that's how does how's my culture? Does this fit into this? Nope, get out of here, right? We doing refinement. That's refining your ways and actions. But also, culture freedom. I know I'm jumping back to the mathematics, but this is with my bill. Culture freedom is also shows you the holders and keepers of your own self in predicament, right? It shows you that the way of life you live, or just like what you eat keeps you here, what you eat also takes you away. Don't dig your grave with your teeth, right? Your way of life, because as the guy said, his name was either magnetic or mathematics, whatever it was. But as the guy said, culture is all things that's close to you. So if your ways and actions, what you do, the way of life you live keeps you here, it also takes you away, right? So you're the holders and keepers of yourself in predicament. You have the chance to change. We're dealing with the now or end. Right now is the seventh day, the God day, right? The war of Armageddon. So it's we in a time of war, a time of 100% complete dissatisfaction, the total world, including this civilized world, including Allah. Allah is dissatisfied. He's not happy with this world, so something has to change. And now is the what? The seventh day, the war of Armageddon. At the end of that, what will be built? The world of complete righteousness, heaven, or the nation of freedom, justice, and equality, the original black nation, will be complete and built, right, after the seventh day. And what will have been completely destroyed and never ever allowed to to be able to come back on the earth. The devilishment, the word of devilishment and unrighteousness, never allowed to ever again be on the earth, right? That will be built and destroyed. So now we in the God day. God is rising, right? That's why we stand up when we pray. We rise our hands because that's representing what? Put your hands in the sky, or not in the sky, but put your hands up so that you can what? Receive what Allah wants to give to you. But in order to receive the presence and the gifts we have to qualify ourselves to receive it, right? But knowledge culture, or dealing with the now end. Let's go to now we're in, right? Let me get into this, right? This is the now end. That shows you the seriousness of the day and times we're living in, drastic measures which are cause for. But don't let this spook you or make you fearful or lack of self-confidence, right? Just because you don't see immediate results, don't let that discourage you, right? Because slow motion is better than no motion, but also a lot of things is a long process. We in the last 1,000 years, but any day, any moment, this could come about. So we have to be ready in that regard, but always constantly working towards something, right? So have that foundation on the forefront of your mind, your own culture, be living it out every day, right? So that's different things we got to be doing, but don't be discouraged when you don't see immediate results. A lot of things gonna take time to flourish and build, right? We ain't always been the present black man, and as we are now, we won't always be. We're always gonna be what? Elevated, but it may take a period of process. It's really a short process, but just from our thinkings and in the way of life we've been accustomed to, a short life of 60 years, 50 years. Oh, that's a full life. Yo, my granddaddy, he was old. He lived to 88. That's 100. Should be the short of us living, right? And that's controlled by the way we live, right? It's controlled by the way you eat. It's controlled by your actions. If you don't think before you act, your actions could kill you. When you loose off the mouth, you do something, you make someone mad, because we're dealing with the 100% complete total satisfaction. You don't think before you act, you step out of terms, you lose your life, you get sent back home, you get returned to essence, right? So by thinking before you act, not saying we scared, we ain't scared of nothing, just not being foolish, right? But also we dealing with life. It's like you want to have a child. You have that child, you don't think before you act. You want to get in that low down mentality. You gonna have a child, you're not prepared for that. Now the child gonna be mentally dead. The child gonna be deficient because you ain't gave him the proper nutrients. Just like if you ain't fed him the proper food, you ain't fed him the proper food for his mind. Now his spiritual food is there. He died of malnutrition because he's of this world. Because his foundation didn't give him the right culture. So thus he's not free from the devilish negativity. We dealing with the now or end. Now's the time to build positive. Don't think that just like that it's all gonna change. We're gonna have to get used to these things. It even says, before you get used to eating 1 meal every 2 days or 2 meals a day, then 1 meal a day. Then if you're able to, 1 meal every other day. If you don't do that much work, 1 meal every 3 days. Right? So that's what they show to you. It's gonna happen eventually, right? It's just gonna take it. So don't just think, oh, I step up, I make a bank, I make a this. It's gonna take some time. Time has already been took, but you know what I'm saying, right? Don't try to rush the process, because just like if you rush baking a bread, you're gonna have a half-done loaf of bread, and that half-done loaf of bread gonna buckle your stomach because it's freshly baked, right? So remember that. But it's the now or end, right? So don't just say, oh, it's gonna take some time so I can just sit back. No, you have to always be doing and putting your most effort in, and then you're gonna get even more results, right? You have to have that sincerity, and you have to have that thought. So before you live something out, think about it and plan it out, right? Because we dealing with the now or end. It's just bringing you up to date of the seriousness of the day and time which we living in. Now let's get to the mainstay of this video. What's the knowledge cost degree in the 1 through 14s, right? That's number 14 was a meaning of MGT and GCC, and so Muslim girls training and general civilization class. This was the name given to the training of women and girls in North America, how to keep house, how to wear their children, how to take care of their husbands, soul cooking in general, how to act at home and abroad, right? So we dealing with knowledge cost and knowledge and knowing the different aspects of the different customs or morals and values of our culture, right? We dealing with the original woman, right? What's some different aspects of our culture? One, without dealing with the woman, because we dealing with what's today? Today's so-called Mother's Day, right? And this gonna be part of my bill. So this is the mainstay of the video. But dealing with knowledge culture, right? What's some things regarding women, right? One, that the original woman is the Asiatic black woman, the mother civilization, queen of the universe, Allah's most beautiful creation and prized possession, right? So in order for her to get the due respect that she deserves, and that she not only respect herself, but that everyone else respect her, right? We say that she should be covered 3/4 in clothing, just as the earth is covered 3/4 in water. Just as why the nation of gods of earth refer to the black woman also to the earth, or to a mother earth, right? But we're dealing with the mother of civilization, right? So she has to be civilized herself, and what she produces, her children gonna look up to her. So her little girls, if the mother of civilization is uncivilized, it's gonna be a foolishness, right? She gonna see her mother wearing all these different clothes, uh, uh, and the father displays his shame for the world to see. Oh, this is my woman. Puts her in a revealing outfit that gonna distract people, gonna put foolish thoughts in your mind, right? But also she's not gonna be respected, right? And we dealing with knowledge culture, so it's a part of our culture. But the black woman's made to be protected, respected, and uplifted. So you can't allow a woman to do this, and we gotta make it so that she gets the respect she deserves. We can't disrespect no woman. Like I said, respect, protect, and uplift the black original woman, right? We're dealing with knowledge culture, which means of MGT and GCC, right? These are different things. We're dealing with the black woman. That's the mother civilization. Because when God when the original man, Almighty God Allah self-created himself, what did he have to do? He had to make the woman, because the black woman is not God, but the black woman is secondary but necessary. That's God's assistant, and that's the vehicle which he uses to bring himself into the next generation, thus showing and proving that he's infinity itself. So she's a shape, fashion, and form which Allah God uses to put himself as a seed, plant himself, or put himself into the woman and bring himself into the next generation, right? And dealing with our woman, whenever mother civilization, queen of the universe, right? Black woman, original Asiatic black woman. We dealing with her whenever she's pregnant. She has to have the highest of vibrations, highest of mentality, best of food, clothing, and shelter. One, so that you can produce an environment of civilization, given a healthy food at the proper times when she needs. Because she shouldn't be eating 1 meal a day. She should be eating whenever, because she has another child inside her, so she has to do that. But she can't be also have none of that mental. She needs mental stability, knowledge, culture. Your way of life has to be stable, consistent, and you have to provide stability. She can't have a lack of self-confidence in your abilities. So or whatever. She can't be worrying where her next meal's coming from. You have to make sure you have a house for her, you have clothing for her to wear, right? Right? She's not gonna be worrying, I don't have no, am I gonna have clothes to wear on my back? Oh, am I gonna have a house to live in, a place to lay my head? Right? You have to have that. But also your interactions have to have the highest of self-confidence, and your relationship has to be what? It has to be both successful, it has to be productive, and it has to be y'all both have to have a very good relationship, be very close, and be very invested into one another and want the best for each other. So that now you'll have the highest of interactions. You'll have high level of understanding, love, right? And now she's supported, has that confidence, but has the understanding, not just a surface level. We're dealing with knowledge, culture, and the power and the refinement which the power and force causes, right? But what's the meaning of MGT and GCC, right? General civilization class. We have a civilized woman, right? Why do our woman dress the way she do, right? And why does a colored man, a white man, put in these institutions to try to make our woman other than ourselves? Because he's trying to corrupt her, disgrace her, and all he wants her as is a tool for his pleasure, as the Honorable Elijah Muhammad says, right? He don't love you. So black woman, don't be fooled by him. He's trying to put kids inside of you to mix up and spot up your blood and try to destroy you, right? As he tries to give you birth control. Birth control law was used to destroy black and make the unoriginal man or the colored or white man, right? So he tries to corrupt you and kill you. So don't think this messes up all the different naturalities from your body. And a lot of different, and mentally makes you up. So that's why you can't have a successful relationship, because it's messing with your different with your brain. It's making your mentality corrupt and wicked, but it's also trying to corrupt and make your body barren, just like the white man's interactions with the earth. He goes to the best part, and then he uses up and strips it of everything, just like he strips our woman of her clothes, and it's still him stripping a woman of our clothes, but sometimes it's not him physically, it's him putting his institutions and his mentality within us. So now we strip our woman of her clothes for him, right? So he strips it of his natural and fruitful resources in the best part, right, which is East Asia, or what is now called Africa. But also he takes it all the good stuff away from her, just like how he poisoned her with birth control. She can't produce no babies, and she thinks it's for a limited time, but this is causing her to be barren, so it cannot produce anything good anymore. So he tries to take all there is, use it for himself, use it for a tool of his own pleasure, and make it unproductive for the people who live there. And even and he uses the people in the main who live there to go and farm, mine, uh, sharecrop, and do all these things and take the resources from their own woman and give it to him. Like just we take our woman's clothes off in public, right? And we give it to him. We do these things which corrupts us and traps us to hell. He wants us to go to hell with them. So he wants to take our own uh, morals and values and violate them and give ourselves to him, give our woman to him, give our woman to him by allowing our woman to go out all hours of the night, living a stranger's way of life. We dealing with the mother civilization, right? Civilization means where the knowledge of wisdom of the original man first started, right? So we got to implant the knowledge of wisdom so we can bring it to an understanding, right, in her culture. We dealing with the mother civilization, queen of the universe, and the day is the so-called Mother's Day. But how I see Day's degree in the message I want to advocate, or the cause and message I want to advocate inside this bill, the original woman is meant to be protected, respected, and uplifted, right? So we at all the mother civilization, queen of the universe out there, say to you that very great job, and I want to just say, uh, I love all the original black women, which is brown, black, yellow, and red woman everywhere. All y'all is the original woman, right? And very much proud to you because you the original woman, mother civilization, queen of the universe, right? So you must know your universal identification, but also we dealing with culture or freedom, right? Culture or freedom. Listen to this, right? We can't, when you're dealing with this, when you're dealing with giving the mother civilization, queen of the universe, all the black beautiful mothers out there, brown, black, yellow, red beautiful mothers out there, right? We always supposed to, you're always supposed to protect, respect, and uplift them, right? You don't just limit that to one day of the year. You don't just limit that to one day of the year. You hear what I'm saying? You always, every day of the year, all year long, you're supposed to appreciate, give your true appreciation, sincere appreciation, not just with your words, but with your actions and your deeds to the original woman. And you always all year long, not just on some special day, not just on Valentine's Day, so bullshit pagan holiday, excuse my language, and not no Mother's Day. You don't just hold one day out of the year for that. That's all year long. That's all year long. Why? I'll get to that. Why? Like I said, I'll get to that. You're supposed to all year long protect, respect, and uplift the original woman and show your appreciation to her. Because if you uplift her, draw her up, draw your earth up, as the gods of earth say, right? Then she is worthy of your what? Recognition and appreciation. Because you're recognizing how she's what? Receiving you. Because she will submit to you and do what you need her to do. How to cook, clean, act at home in the bride, take care of the children, rear her children, take care of her husband, all of that. Right? Now, let me explain myself. Now, because dealing with culture freedom is an everyday thing. The teachings of Almighty God Allah and the person of the most honorable Master W.D. Farad Muhammad, to whom our eternal praise is due forever, which were taught to us by and revealed to us by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the messenger of Allah, the greatest and last prophet and apostle, and the only servant of the Son of Man. Right? These teachings is not a religion. These teachings, our culture of Islam, is not a religion. It's not a fashion or a fad, and it's not a part-time job. Right? And this goes for me as well. Everything I say goes for me as well. It's not a part-time job. It's not a religion. It's not a fashion or a fad, and it's not only when you feel like it. And it's not only when it's convenient. It may be inconvenient, but it's your culture, so we do it regardless of whom or what. You wake up, you brush your teeth. It might be inconvenient, but you say, well, I gotta brush my teeth. You are hungry. Sometimes you just think you're hungry, but let's say you really are hungry, you will eat food. It might be inconvenient, but you have to get to food. This culture is not a part-time job. There's not one day of worship. Every day is a day of worship. You pray 5 times a day. Every day is a day of worship. We don't have one special day. We're not a religion. You can't call the nature of a people a religion. Because Islam is the nature of the original man, original family of the planet Earth, right? So don't hold one day out of the year to give recognition and appreciation to the original woman, the mother civilization, queen of the universes, that have actually done their job and are righteous and right and exact and live out their culture, meaning of MGT and GCC, right? Don't just hold one day for that. All year long, all day long, right? We supposed to be doing these things. So there's no one day of worship. We're not Christianity. We're not these spooky Sunnis. I call them that. Spooky Sunni or whatever. These people. We're not no Christianity. We're not no Sabbath day. Every day, we in the last day. And every day is to live out your culture. Right? So we have to do as the degree says. Culture freedom. Free yourself from that one day mentality. Oh, 1 month mentality. Black History Month. Black History Week. Mother's Day. Father's Day. Don't contain yourself or trap yourself or allow yourself to be chained by the slave master shackles to one day out of the year, 1 month out of the year. This is year-long, year-round. This is lifelong. Your birth, death, and sacrifice, your entire life, your culture, right? So don't contain yourself. Free yourself with your culture, your own natural culture of Islam, which is really easy for you to live out. Once you get into it, you're blessed with the understanding. And that's where you get the power and force to refine all around you in the cipher. You have the ability to protect yourself and your woman with the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And as I said, I'll be right back. Get the books. Get the books. There's How to Eat to Live by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. There's How to Eat to Live Book 2. And there's The Father of America. I'll bring one more book out. I give so much of my books away, I have to recollect the books I got. And Message to the Black Man. Everything that I speak about, I learned from the books. This is everything I've done is not of my own doing. I'm a product of what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad has done. And this is serious. I'm not, any of these things not of my own doing. I not come up with any of these teachings. I'm not that intelligent. Right? These things without the teachings. The teachings make me intelligent. But everything I've learned, everything I've taught in our success in my life was not of my own doing. And it was, and I owe everything to Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the books and the readings and teachings and the word and also the other people who've been taught directly. I've learned from them. So get it from the source. Don't get branch knowledge, get root knowledge so you can branch out and reach other people in peace. Remember, we must always protect, respect, uplift the original black woman, mother civilizations, the queen of the universes, and do our job to draw her up. And we have to do these things. I want to say thank you to all the beautiful Muslim women, whether you know you're a Muslim or not. If you're brown, black, yellow, red, you're naturally a Muslim, right? But I want to say thank you to all the beautiful black mothers who actually put the time, energy, and effort in and raised their black families with the black fathers also. So I want to say, remember, don't just take this from me because it's coming from a day. I use this day. We must do this every day. But I use this day to teach as the best as I can. So peace. I come in the righteous name of Emir X, but now I'm leaving now. So peace, and keep your vibrations up, your energy, your frequencies, and your good thinkings.